Okay, so I'm just going to talk through a few examples from section 2.4 we did in class. So, yeah, if you get, if you missed class or something like that, or if you just needed some more examples to help you out because it didn't make sense and you're reviewing for the test or quiz. So here we go, deductive reasoning. So first of all, deductive reasoning uses facts and rules and definitions, properties, and all that stuff. Inductive reasoning uses patterns. Okay. So in class here, we try to figure out what's inductive, what's deductive. So number 10, let's say at Fumio School, if you are 5 minutes late, you'll receive a detention. If you're late 5 times, not 5 minutes late. If you're late 5 times, you'll receive a detention. Fumio has been late to school 5 times, therefore he will receive a detention. That's deductive. Let's do the inductive in blue, and we'll do the deductive in green. So this is definitely deductive. If then, if happened, then happens. Number 11, a dental assistant notices the patient has never been on time for an appointment. She concludes that the patient will be late for the next appointment. That's a pattern, okay? Because that doesn't mean it's guaranteed to be late. That person could show up on time. They get their act together. They figure it out. So again, deductive uses some kind of like if-then almost rule, very, very like straightforward. It's this, this, this. Inductive is just a pattern. Hey, this happened before, probably will happen again. Okay. Now, this is the law of detachment. So the question is, does this work out? Is it valid or invalid? So determine whether the statement concluded is, or the stated conclusion is valid based on the given information. If it is not valid, write invalid. Explain your reasoning. So right angles are congruent. Angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent. Now here's the tricky part of this. The law of detachment works by saying, I skipped over. Where is it at here? No, I didn't put it in there. I'll have to go back and change that for class, I guess, because I'm doing this before class. If P occurs, okay, then Q has to. Now the thing is this. My conclusion is, hey, Q happened. That's a problem though, because P never occurred to make it happen. So how in the world are we going to make Q happen? So this is invalid. It fails the law of detachment. And we could say, how do we know if they're congruent? Angle 1 and angle 2 could be 30 degrees. They would still be congruent. They just wouldn't be right angles. Okay. So yeah, it doesn't work out that way. Number 18, here's another one. An angle bisector divides an angle into two congruent angles. So if you have an angle bisector, that's your P, then you have two congruent angles, that's your Q. Km is the angle bisector of JKL. Hey, guess what? P happened. We have an angle bisector, so Q has to happen. A couple of congruent angles. So valid, law of detachment. We can skip that. Now, law of syllogism. We do these in class. Law of syllogism. Again, if P implies Q and Q implies R, we can just cut out Q and jump right to R. Okay. So the example you had in class was if you do not get enough sleep. So here we go. Here's our P, which we'll do P in green, or sorry, blue. Then you'll be tired. Green. If you are tired, Q happened again, then you will not do well on the test. So what we're going to be able to do is just essentially go, hey, guess what? You are not necessary. We can jump right to, if you do not get enough sleep, you will not do well on the test. And there we go. If you do not get enough sleep, you will not do well on the test. That's G. And then basically for the rest of the lesson, we just kind of pull things together. Okay. So number 28. If Zach Johnson won the Masters tournament in 2007, use the law of syllogism to draw a conclusion from each of the statements, if possible. If no valid conclusion can be drawn, write no valid conclusion to explain the reasoning. So if Zach Johnson's score is lower than other golfers at the end of a tournament, he wins the tournament. If a golfer wins the Masters tournament, then he gets a green jacket. Okay, so this is about the Masters. That's what they're saying here. So his P is bleh, his hypothesis is if Zach Johnson scores lower at the end of the tournament, his conclusion is he wins the tournament. What's the next statement? If a golfer wins the tournament, he gets the green jacket. There we go. P implies Q, Q implies R, so we can jump to saying P implies R. So here we go. If Zach Johnson's score is lower than the other golfers at the end of the tournament, then he gets a green jacket. Mr. Moore, you cannot type. There we go. Okay. Yeah. And I think that's about it. The rest of it's just kind of doing that stuff over and over again. Yeah. So, again, if you still have questions, they'll come in. If you missed class, come in, obviously. And otherwise, yeah, there you go. Hopefully that helped.